Next up in our ACC preview is the Wake Forest Demon Deacons. And Dalton, it was a rough year for Wake Forest last year. They went 4-8, which is actually the same amount of losses they had in the previous 2 years combined, man. The biggest culprit was obviously the departure of Sam Hartman, their all-time leading passer. He transferred to Notre Dame, and with that, man, they struggled to get anything going in that passing game. 114th in the country in passing grade this past season. But they got a new transfer quarterback coming in, Hank Bachmeier, who actually was pretty good in his career before, and a pretty strong supporting cast for Bachmeier to be with as well.
Yeah, for sure. And the best part of that supporting cast is their offensive line. And Bachmeier is a guy he's a pocket quarterback. He needs good pass protection. But he should get it. Wake Forest, they lost a couple of starters on their O-line, but this was a unit that was the 8th best in the country last season. They're going to rely on this line to carry them in the run game and in pass protection while they figure out some of the weapons on the outside.
Yeah, I think the one weakness I would say for this, or one of the biggest weaknesses I should say for this team right now is the secondary lost a lot of major pieces from last year, man. They had a really good secondary last year. They were 34th in the country in grade as a unit, but they only bring back one starter from that unit in their slot corner in Evan Slocum, and 2 of the starters who departed were drafted in Malik Mustafa, the safety, and their cornerback Kalen Carson. So they have now a lot of questions at their new look secondary, especially at outside corner. I'm a little bit worried about that secondary as of right now for Wake Forest. But Dalton, tell me more about Hank Bachmeier right now, coming in from Boise State and Louisiana Tech. What should we know about him as a new Wake Forest starting quarterback?
Yeah, really interesting guy who he's had some injuries in his career, but he's been really productive, especially when he's been protected, right? And if he doesn't get blitzed, like last year, when he wasn't blitzed, he had a 90 passing grade, which was the best in the group of 5, right? So there's some things where if you protect him, a lot like we've said with some of these other ACC quarterbacks, he can make NFL caliber throws from the pocket max if his feet are set. Honestly, I think he's actually going to get some looks as a day 3 or an undrafted guy in next year's draft class because he's got a really good arm and he's unafraid to throw into tight coverage. He's in the top 20 over the last 3 years, Max, in big-time throws into tight coverage. That's despite being outside the top 60 in total dropbacks, right? So big thing is going to be the offensive line for Wake Forest, and they have a good one. Now he's going to try to make tight throws, into a core of weapons that, we're kind of questioning right now. But if he can handle the blitz, which he did in his best season in 2021, and he can set his feet, he can make NFL caliber throws for sure.
Yeah, one guy who's going to really help protect him on that offensive line is their offensive tackle in Devontae Gordon, heading into his 6th season of college football and his 3rd season as one of Wake Forest's starting tackles. He played 2021 and 2022 at right tackle and then kind of split his time this past season between right tackle and left tackle this past season, and he should be the starter at left tackle this upcoming season. Over the last 2 years, 82.4 pass blocking grade on true pass sets, which is 7th among Power 5 tackles. And again, pass blocking grade on true pass is a little bit more reliable than just looking at pure pass blocking grade because it removes a lot of the external factors that can affect your pass blocking grade. So that's a really good mark for him on true passes, man. Still some work to do in the run game, but there's no denying that Devontae Gordon is one of the best returning pass blockers that we have in college football right now.
Yeah, it's been a theme. They're going to win in the trenches on their offensive line, and they're going to win in the trenches with their defensive line, too. And a really, really good edge player they have is Jasheen Davis. Top 5 in the ACC in pass rush grade, pressures, and sacks, and all of that led to the 19th best overall grade among edge players last season. He's by far their best defensive player. He's one of the best pass rushers in the ACC, and he's an incredible athlete, at least a 96th percentile athlete in each of the last 3 seasons. Jasheen Davis is the guy that you need to find when you're pass protecting against Wake Forest. He can cause a lot of problems.
Dude, he seems like he's getting better every year, too. And with that athleticism, it seems like he's just scratching his potential right now. So I'm really excited to see what Jasheen Davis has for an encore this year. What's the bottom line for this team, Dalton? Obviously, a really rough year last year after having a really good couple years under Sam Hartman. Do they bounce back a little bit, or do you think this is kind of what we're going to see from Wake Forest once again in 2024?
I have a bad feeling it's going to be pretty close to this. I think they improved at quarterback with Bachmeier. The more I watch him, the more I like him, especially when he has good protection. But there's a lack of weaponry here for him to work with that I'm worried about. And you mentioned the problems in the secondary. I think they can compete with a lot of teams in the ACC in the trenches, O-line, D-line, even their linebackers, not bad. But the secondary and their wide receiving group it's a problem for me. And I know Bachmeier can make throws into tight windows, but you still don't want him doing it that often. We need guys who can separate. We need weapons that can get open. That's the part that I question the most, and that would make me worry that they're going to miss a bowl game again.
Yeah, I'm a little worried too. Their win total right now is 4.5 right now, man, and it's tough, man. I mean, they had their worst season in 8 years. They can rebound and go bowling if Bachmeier is as good in the ACC as he was in Conference USA for Louisiana Tech. But you look at their schedule, though, man. It's about an average in terms of our power ranking. But one of their non-conference games is Ole Miss, who we think is a top 5 team in the country, right? So that's difficult. You play Clemson, you play NC State, you play North Carolina, and you play Miami. I don't know. It's a lot of tough games. I think a bowl game is certainly possible for Wake Forest, so they'll bounce back a little bit, but I don't think they're going to be nearly as good as they were when they had Sam Hartman back at quarterback. But that's what we got for our preview of the Wake Forest Demon Deacons. Hey, thanks for watching the PFF College Football Show. Before I let you go, though, we have an unbelievable deal for you guys right now. If you use the code CFB25, you get 25% off your PFF Plus annual subscription. We've got the 2024 College Football Preview Guide that you can find over at pff.com, featuring the best players in the country from all 70 Power 5 teams, plus 10 Group of 5 teams that have the best chance at making the college football playoff as well. You can also gain access to NCAA premium stats for historical games, teams, and player tracking dating all the way back to 2014, so the last decade or so of college football. All the stats you can hope for, you can find in PFF Premium as well. Also, you can be the GM of your favorite NFL team with our unbelievable mock draft simulator, where you can draft up to 7 rounds of players for your NFL team. And if you want to dominate your fantasy league, you can do that as well using the best fantasy tools on the planet. All of that and more with your PFF Plus annual subscription, which you can find for 25% off right now with the code you can find in the description. Or if you want to go to subscribe.pff.com and use the code CFB25 at checkout, again, you get 25% off your PFF Plus subscription. This won't last forever, so make sure you take advantage of it right now.